They fought the same weight class. If you think it's not a lot of women that's boxing now, it wasn't that many women boxing back then. So you had your pick up the litter. When you talk about the 168s and the 160s, Layla Ali and Ann Wolfe. Y'all all know who Ann Wolfe is. Yeah, she the one who knocked out Vonda Ward. The big, tall, white chick that had on the USA. Ann Wolfe knocked her ass out cold. Is the biggest knockout in women's boxing. One shot cold. Bow. Now that's a woman who scares me right there. USA, Ann Wolfe knocked her ass out cold. Is the biggest knockout in women's boxing. One shot cold. Bow. Now that's a woman who scares me right there. Bow. Now that's a woman who scares me right there.
Yeah, we know. We know you scared. You scared of Ann Wolfe because you said what? One shot out cold. You scared of somebody hitting you and hurting you and knocking you out, knocking you down, embarrassing you, putting you through what Vonda Ward went through when Ann Wolfe put the bing bings on her. Same way your ass came damn close to having your Ann Wolfe, Vonda Ward moment when Hannah Gabriels put the bing bings on you. So you see, party people, now you know what time it is. Anyway, welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Like and subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Become a member to the channel if you enjoy the content. And, leave that donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. Look, man, the knockdown that changed everything. And it was by a light-skinned woman. Hannah Gabriels dropped the GWOAT. The GWOAT wasn't feeling that, boy. And, she doesn't seem to be in any rush to get back in the ring with Hannah Gabriels. You know what I mean? You got to understand when it comes to somebody like Claressa Shields, she doesn't get knocked down. Nah, she doesn't. Not in the amateurs, not in sparring stories, even though there's a video circulating of her where she claimed she was whipping men's ass in sparring and she got dropped. Not in her highlight reels, but I tell you what, in 2018, during her 6th professional fight, something happened that, no one expected. Hannah Gabriels, the Costa Rican veteran, landed a short, sneaky uppercut left hook combination that put Shields on the canvas. And it wasn't just a punch. It was a moment that sent shockwaves through women's boxing. For the first time, the self-proclaimed GWOAT looked human. Has Layla Ali been dropped? I just thought I would ask that question. You know what I'm saying? Fast forward years later, while Shields has been collecting belts, beating names like Christina Hammer, Savannah Marshall, Maricela Cornejo, the one name that hasn't come back up on her schedule is Hannah Gabriels. We know why she don't want to fight Hannah Gabriels. We all know why. Because Hannah Gabriels put the bing bings on her. And fans keep asking why. You gotta ask why. You know what I'm saying? Before we talk about why Claressa Shields might not want that rematch, you got to talk about who Hannah Gabriels is. Gabriels isn't some random opponent. She's a 4-division world champion, having fought from welterweight all the way up to light heavyweight. That's not easy. Born in Costa Rica, Gabriels carries that mix of power, speed, and ring IQ that comes from experience. And it was definitely on display when her and Claressa Shields got in the ring. She's been boxing professionally since 2007, long before Shields ever turned pro. What makes Gabrielle special is that she's deceptively powerful. Her punches don't look wild, but they snap. She doesn't rush her offense. She sets traps and uses angles beautifully. I just rewatched that fight yesterday. And I was like, you could just see Claressa Shields trying to stay in the pocket and trying to exchange and shoe shine chicken pecking coochie coo with the fast hands with soft punches. And you can see Gabrielle's shit was just rocking Shields. But again, in 2018, man, Gabriels came in as an underdog, but she had veteran eyes. She knew what she had in front of her. Young, cocky, arrogant, Flint, Michigan cockroach that was just looking to come in there and spread her infectious ways all over Hannah Gabriel in the crowd to make it look like Hannah Gabriel wasn't going to be the raid that night. The cockroach was going to survive. But what happened is Gabriel's read Shields' aggression. Claressa rushed in with a high chin, her feet square, and just shoe shining, coochie cooing, and tickling with them flurry of punches. Boom! Gabriels timed her perfectly and put her ass down. Now, you got to revisit that infamous moment to understand what really happened with that knockdown. Round one, Claressa Shields comes out hot, aggressive, trying to bully Gabriels with a jab and inside combinations. Gabriels is sitting there, man, laughing, enjoying being tickled, not rattled at all. She's patient. Claressa dips forward, trying to throw a right hand, but her head straight down the middle. Gabriel rolls slightly to her right and fires an uppercut left hook that splits the guard. That punch lifts Shields' chin and sends her back and down. It wasn't a flash knockdown, it was clean. Shields got up quickly, but you could tell she was shocked. Her eyes said it all. Gabriels had just shown her that this wasn't going to be easy. From that moment on, Claressa boxed more carefully. She adjusted, controlled the pace, and eventually won the fight clearly. But Gabriels had already made her mark. That knockdown became a permanent piece of Claressa's legacy. Now, this is the problem someone like Hannah Gabriels creates, and why Claressa ain't trying to mess with her, even though it's been several years since they fought. The issue with Hannah Gabriels isn't just the punch she landed, it's what she represents. She's a fighter who even now can hurt Claressa Shields, especially now because Claressa looks sloppy as hell. And even Layla Ali could come back and hurt Claressa because Claressa's sloppy as hell. Claressa ain't as fine-tuned and she ain't that well-oiled machine she was when she first turned pro. I'm just telling you that. And I ain't a Claressa Shields hater. I'm telling you the girl can fight, but I'm also telling you she ain't looking like she's on top of her game right now. Gabriels has good balance. She has the power. She got the composure. She doesn't crumble under pressure. She can take a shot, return one harder. That combination makes her dangerous to someone like Shields, who thrives on dominating mentally and physically. So you got to break down the danger, man. Gabriels has deceptive whip on her shots. Let's just assume that she still has what she had then, right? And Gabriels had dropped bigger fighters than Claressa Shields. So this shit about Claressa Shields fighting at heavyweight, whatever, it won't matter. Experience. She's seen every style. Brawlers, counterpunchers, movers. Timing. She times opponent stepping in. Exactly what hurt Shields last time. And she has confidence. She's the only woman alive who knows what it feels like to drop the GWOAT. So while Shields might beat her again on points, maybe, I don't think so. Gabriels represents risk. Claressa Shields don't want that risk because she doesn't like the idea of getting knocked out or getting knocked down. She saw what Ann Wolfe did to someone, and now she almost became the victim. And Hannah Gabriels was Ann Wolfe. And Claressa Shields like, hell no, I don't want that. And every promoter knows that what Hannah Gabriels brings to the ring. They know. Every fighter knows that. You don't run back into a fire unless there's a reason to. As far as Claressa, why she may not want the rematch, there's a few possible reasons why she hasn't fought her again. Maybe because she beat her the first time. But it could be the risk versus the reward. Claressa's career is about legacy. She's chasing history. Undisputed titles, crossover fights in MMA. She wants global recognition. Hopefully she can get it. But Gabriels doesn't bring huge money or belts right now. She just brings danger. The knockdown stigma. Shields is proud. She's very proud. She's protective of her image. A rematch means risk of reliving that knockdown moment, especially if Gabriels lands again. Imagine the headline, Gabriels dropped Shields again. It could damage her aura, and for sure would kill her confidence. Then you got promotional and timing issues, There actually was supposed to be a rematch in 2023. It was scheduled, but then Hannah Gabriels, for some reason, pulled from the fight due to an issue with a drug test, later clarified as a misunderstanding involving her dog's medication. The fight never got rebooked. Since then, Claressa moved on. I ain't gonna lie, that sounded a little bit shady to me. I ain't gonna lie. But deep down, some fans believe Claressa doesn't want to risk it, especially now. She's talking about fighting at middleweight, or even going to MMA again, or even trying to fight Layla Ali, which we all feel like, you know what? Leave Layla Ali alone. If you want to fight somebody, rematch Gabriels. That's what you do. A fight Ann Wolf. But leave Layla Ali alone. Don't be out here trying to be a bully. And then there's the psychological element that not many people are talking about. When a fighter knocks you down, they live rent-free in your head. It's not about fear. It's about pride. Claressa is one of the most confident fighters in the world, but at one moment, that flash of vulnerability still exists on tape. In interviews, she always brushes it off. I got up and wanted to fight, true. But that knockdown keeps getting replayed every time critics bring up her flaws. If she rematched Gabriels and dominated, it would erase that moment. But if she got caught again, even once, the internet would explode. And in this era, optics matter as much as results. Now, how Gabriels can still be a problem today? Look, even years later, Gabriels still poses stylistic problems. She's strong, durable, unpredictable. She can switch rhythm mid-combination. Her jab is educated, not fast, but precise. Shields is faster, sharper, and technically superior, but Gabriel's calmness under fire makes her dangerous in the pocket. And that's where I think Claressa Shields will have a lot of problems today, because she likes to languish around in the storm instead of getting in, getting out. She ain't even using really angles and pivots like she used to. She just has been able to get away with some bad habits against opponents who were totally inferior to her in every single way possible. So I do think Gabriel's biggest weapon, I don't think it's physical. I think it's psychological. So every time Claressa thinks about it, she remembers that first round moment, that flash of weakness. And that's the seed of hesitation that can affect performance. So what a rematch would look like, I think if they fought today, it would look different. Claressa would try to be more calculated, more defensive early on. She'd respect Gabriel's power this time. She'd probably try to rely on combinations and angles, not volume and pressure, but Claressa ain't the same, man. The combinations, angles, she just is a step behind. Just a step behind. So would she win by unanimous decision? Maybe, but there'd be some scary moments, and Gabriels is too experienced to get blown out. So maybe Claressa starts with all these exchanges, and Gabriel's catching it with something and puts it down this time, for good. But I totally understand why she ain't in a rush to get back in the ring with no damn Hannah Gabriels. The Gabriels situation showed the duality of Claressa Shields. On one hand, she's a generational talent, the face of women's boxing. On the other hand, she's human, emotional, prideful, sometimes defensive. She's been chasing greatness her entire career, and the Gabriels chapter reminds fans that greatness isn't about perfection, it's about resilience. Matter of fact, I want to show y'all something. So why hasn't she fought Hannah Gabriels again instead of bothering with Layla Ali? Just in boxing, sometimes the fights we don't see say more than the ones we do. You know what I'm saying? Gabriels is a risk. She's a ghost from Claressa's past. And until they meet again, that story will stay open-ended. For now, Claressa remains the GWOAT. But somewhere in Costa Rica, there's a veteran still waiting for her second chance, and she's already proven she can make the queen bleed, which is exactly what she did. She put the bing-bings on Claressa Shields. Now, for those of you out there who are like, who may not have seen what happened, where am I at? Let me show you something here real quick. Let me mute this. I don't want the music to play. Okay. Let me show you this. This is what actually happened right here. This is from the fight where Gabriels dropped Claressa Shields. Claressa Shields don't want to go through that no more. Anyway, y'all keep cool. And actually, this may be one of the reasons why Claressa Shields hates light-skinned women. Because this woman was definitely light-skinned and she put the bing-bings on her. Y'all keep cool. We'll see what Claressa Shields does. I do personally think she should push for the rematch. Even though she beat her, rematch her. You know what I'm saying? Going out there and prove that shit was just a fluke. But then again, like I said, it's high risk. What if it ends up where she gets dropped again? This time gets stopped. Claressa Shields, she ain't locked into boxing like she was. She out here, her mind is elsewhere. I'm just telling you, somebody gonna beat her. Somebody gonna beat her, man. We won't know though until we see her continue with her career and see how it ends up. But she just doesn't seem to be locked into boxing. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.